Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is Ash. In this session, I shall be walking you through the transit chart view. There are a lot of great features that this CAS program provides, and at a high level, I shall be covering the navigation around the transit chart view, the transit chart data entry page. This is where we'll talk about entering data. How do I enter data, transit data, or create transit data charts? Displaying options of transit charts, whether you want the transit chart to be displayed with the Lagna as the ascendant, or you want to match it with the birth chart Lagna, the transit Sarvashtak Varga chart, the transit alerts of Saturn and Mars. Transits of Saturn and Mars can cause a lot of problems provided certain points are fulfilled. So, an alert of Saturn and Mars helps one when one is studying the chart. Transit point table and various information that is going to be displayed in that table, and the visualization of daily points and that of the Saturn and Jupiter's transit points. Both these are very important and they tell us what's going on in the native life at the current point. Now, the transit view has been designed purposefully so that one is able to know what's going on the transit date. A transit chart means that we are studying the planetary positions with respect to the birth chart planetary position. Keep that in mind that both charts, that is the birth chart and the transit chart, need to be displayed side by side. Along with this, we also need to know the natal power of planets, the net points of the CAS power, and the summary charts. So everything is at a glance, and this becomes like a dashboard when we study the transit chart with respect to the natal chart. A transit chart tells us about the transient position of the planetary effect with respect to your birth chart. With that in mind, let's delve into the program and see and study how do we navigate around all these points. So this is, you all might recognize the screen now. By now, this is our CAS dashboard screen. Now that you have studied the CAS dashboard and you are well into your reading of a chart, and you reach a point where now you want to know what's going on with respect to transits. So in order to get to the transit page, we are going to click on the transit chart north hyperlink here. Once I click that link, it will take me to the transit chart. So this is basically the screen where all the transit information is all collected and displayed. The purpose is, again, trying to give all the information or the relevant information that one needs all together in one page, so it helps us and solves the issue of navigating to multiple pages. So with that in mind, I have given multiple options on this page. So let's start with the first option of studying the display. Now when I click on this yellow, right now by default this shows that I am going to match, this is my natal chart. So if you come back to the natal and divisional chart hyperlink, I will go back to my dashboard, my main dashboard, and this is the natal chart. When I click on the transit chart, that is displayed here. Now, this green is the transit information and the blue is the natal chart information. So that way it is easy to segregate what information is relevant of to which chart. So let's study the transit chart. So here there are two display. I can display this chart in two ways. One is to match the transit chart and natal lagna. So since the natal lagna rising is Cancer, I have put the chart same, matching the lagna to Cancer. But on 3rd June 2017, let me just go make this the current date, 18th November, which is today's date. As you can see here, I can see that right now I have the ascendant of Virgo rising. But since this is pegged to matching the natal lagna, it is showing Cancer. But if you notice, the ascendant value ASC here is in Virgo. So in case you want to study the ascendant in lagna, I will click on this option here, and here it is. I can get a Virgo lagna here, and now Cancer goes in the 11th house. So this is how the current chart is. So just to match it, I am going to go back to match transit with natal. In this view, I can at a glance say that in transit, Mars is right now currently transiting the same house that is in the natal chart. Moon is in the 3rd house from that position. Jupiter is in the same house, and so on and so forth. So, and here I can see the Kas Ayanamsha for the date that the transit chart has been cast for. And I can see here, this is the information that the transit chart is created for. The next point I wanted to talk about is how do I enter data into the screen? So for that, I have a hyperlink here. So this is the transit. Right now, the transit chart has been created for Vancouver. Right now, there is the daylight time is not existing here, so I'm going to go change it to PST Standard Time, and I'm going to click on the northern chart here. So the lagna now has changed to 13 Virgo 1. So this is where I would enter the transit information, the location where these transits are in place. Then I can enter the time of the transit that I need to create the chart for. And this is the place where I can enter. Let's, for example, I want to create a chart for 20th November 2016. And I will create the chart for 20th November at 2:54 a.m. So this is the date for the transit, the time for the transit, date for the transit, time for the transit, and this is where the location of the transit is. And the increment, this is something I will talk about in a bit. Now, what are the information I have given here? Now, I have given the information of the Sarvastak Varga points, SAV points that the planet is transiting on. For example, Sun is in Scorpio and the SAV points are 24. As you can see here, I have repeated the natal SAV points in the transit points. This gives me an idea to calculate my daily transit points. Astakvarga has very powerful application, And as we have seen before, these points of 35, 33 have been created from the Vinashtak-Varga tables, and they already factor in the 8 reference points. So this 35 for 33, 34, 27 and so on and so forth is loaded with a lot of information, a lot of combinations. So Ashtak-Varga can be used to get an understanding of how your day-to-day impact will be based on these total combinations. For example, right now Jupiter is transiting Virgo, which has 34 points. Sun, Mercury and Saturn are right now in a house that is in red, which means less than 28. 28 is below 28 is considered weak, more than 28 is considered to be strong. 28 is the average points. So Venus is 20, Mars is 26. So right now you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planets are transiting a house which is less than 28. And Jupiter is the only planet that is in a house with 34 points. So this is the little table here that shows us, and it tells me that on an average, I'm going to total these points. It's 187, which is less than 196. So any points in total less than 196 is displayed in red here. And you know that, your power in that day is less than average. You might be facing some issues or things are not going your way and so on and so forth. Now, what I have here now is the alerts for transit of Mars or Saturn over a house with 0 points. If there is an alert, it will show up here to say that, oh, there is going to be some problem coming your way, or there might be some issues that one needs to be wary of. Then here is the 2 most powerful planets, or large planets, Jupiter and Saturn. They control the last 4 houses of the chart, which is 9th is Sagittarius, 10 is Capricorn, 11 is Aquarius, and 12 is Pisces. So Sagittarius and Pisces are ruled by the 9th and 12th house. Natural 9th and 10th house is ruled by Jupiter, and 10th and 11th house is ruled by Saturn. So from 9th house to 12th house, and these houses are very important. These are slow moving planets. Their transit has a telling effect on the Karakatva of 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th house. Don't worry too much about the theory for now. I will have another lesson to explain the details. But for now, it is important to know what is going on. Again, 4 points is the average. Anything more than 4 is good. Less than 4 is malefic. 4 is neutral. Can go either way. So right now you can see that Jupiter is transiting a house over 3 points, and Saturn has 3 points in its transit. How do I know that? I can go back. So Jupiter is in 3rd house, Saturn is in 5th house. So I can go into the natal transit and see Jupiter is in the 3rd house, which over 3 points, and Saturn is transiting 5th house with 3 points. So 3 plus 3 is 6. So this is how I calculate the transit power of the planet of Saturn and Jupiter. Because they are slow moving planets, the impact is longer. Saturn takes about 2.5 years to transit over a house, and Jupiter takes on an average about 12 to 13 months to transit a house. So this effect of 6 might linger on for at least 13 months. So now we come down to the real meat of and the power of the transit points. Now here is a large table, so don't get overwhelmed with it. I mean, this is very important to know the daily points. how your day is going to be, right? Is today is 187, tomorrow is 185. So I can expect that things to be more challenging tomorrow than it is today. And in the same way, I need to know the trend. Now, and then I have to visualize this because there are so many numbers here. This is a big table. A graph speaks 1,000 words. So at a glance, I know that, hey, up to, 2nd December or 1st December, I have a downward trend. And then after that, my points start to go up and I start to feel better. Out here, there is a point where the points are 183, 178, 178, and then it goes up again to 190. There is some turbulence here, and then I am back to, things starts to stabilize for me. So at a glance, I can see of what's going on. And to augment this, I can see the PDF, which is a probable date finder. This is the Sun's transit. Here I have the Saturn and Jupiter transit of 6. So this points are for the 20th November, but every day there could be a point where Saturn and Jupiter might change a house. So I can see the SA and JU points here. Because this table is dynamic, I will show you of how we can see a large range fluctuation of Saturn and Jupiter. Then I have Sun and Moon transit. These two are, of course, luminaries and lagnas as well, because we factor in everything from Sun, Moon, and lagna. So Sun and Moon also rule 5th and 4th house of the chart. So this tells us also about a mental makeup of how we feel. Are we positive or negative on the particular day? So the transit points of this is also important. Now, how to study all this is a lecture in itself, but for now, all this information is available for you to prepare yourself for when I give the lecture. We will know how to navigate to this screen. Then what I have here in this chart here is the ephemeris, so as to speak. So I can see Sun is now transiting on Monday or 21st. It will be at 6 degrees Scorpio, 6 degrees Scorpio 22, and then 7 degree, 8 degree. Same way the Moon is going to transit, Mars transit. And what I have here is the speed. So I can see the speed fluctuating. For example, right here, I can see Mars is 152% of its average speed, and it's slowing down here. And I can see that it's from Scorpio, it's going into Sagittarius. The speed is slowing down, down, and suddenly becomes slow, and here it becomes stationary and it starts to go retrograde. So this blue sign indicates that it's starting to retrograde, go to retrograde motion, or it appears to be moving backwards. And the negative, I can see the numbers go negative here, because now it is slowed down tremendously and then stopped and then moving in a negative direction or the reverse direction. And the speed is increasing in the negative direction. So this is a wonderful screen here, loaded with a lot of information. And at a glance, you can see, and I can see that, hey, Venus is slowing down here. At some point, it will become retrograde. And I can see Saturn, a slow-moving planet, but it is right now going at 350%, approximately 350% of its speed. It's getting faster. But after this point, here it starts to get slow. So I can see that at some point, it will start to slow down and get into retrograde. So in these arrows, I can jump 30. I can keep jumping 30. For example, here I jumped 30 and said, okay, the speed slowed down. And after 138 here, and on this day here on 29 December, it's going to start to, again, reverse direction will start slowing down, and in the next few days, here it starts to go back to the direct motion, and then it starts to accelerate, and it will reach about its 100% speed here on 19th January. And here you can see that the speed is reducing of Saturn, right? And but now I can keep scrolling one day at a time. So here I have truly made the screen extremely dynamic. So I want to see 15 days at a time. So what options I have here is you can do increments in days, months, years, hours, minutes, and seconds. So you can go down to seconds if you so like. So let's see, for example, I want to do 30 days at a time, or 1 month at a time, or 15 days jump. So let me see what happens here for Saturn speed. So Saturn every 15 days, so I can see here 23rd December, so 15 days, 7th Jan, 22nd Jan, and so on. So now I can see, and I can see it's Jupiter and Saturn jumping up here to on 19th December, somewhere between 4th and 19th, it jumped up from 6 to 10 points. And then it's gone down to 9. And I can just see the trend here, that it's going up here. Somewhere between this month, it's 15 days, it's gone down. So, likewise, I can see the speed of Saturn is reducing. And out here, somewhere between these two dates here, which is these two dates here, 7th and 22nd, I can see that Saturn has gone into its retrograde motion. So this is a use of that. Now, and I have made it even more dynamic. For example, let's say I want to find out when did this change happen exactly. So I'm going to say, okay, why don't I come here on 4th and create a transit chart of this? So instead of entering the data, I'm just going to click on this nice yellow button here to say create the transit chart. And it will go ahead and create the chart for 4th September. And here I want to start to drill down 1 day at a time instead of 15 days. Because I know somewhere in those 15 days, Saturn and Jupiter points changed. And there you go, I can see from 4th, 5th, 6th, between 6th and 7th now, I can see it changed. Now I want to drill down further to find out exactly when it changed. So I can see at 2:54, I am going to make my transit chart of here, and I can see, okay, and I want to drill down into hours here to see at what time it changed, what hour it changed. So now I'll go down and I can see, right here, I can see between 1 a.m. and 54, it changed. So I can now say, okay, let me go to the minute and find out. I can drill down further to see, okay, let me now go down to the minute. Oops, I'm going to go down to the minute here. And I can see right here a change between 1:16:26 and 1:17:26, and so on and so forth. I can go down to the second. So this, in 4 or 5 clicks, I have drilled down into exact point of where it changed. You can see right here Jupiter changes sign here from 29 Virgo 59 to 0 Libra 0. So, and I can get the daily point change, I can get the SHAU, and if I want to reset it back to the natal data Dasha page, which is what I shall be covering in the next session, but just for the navigation sake, I'm going to take you there. So I'm going to come here to make it 18 November 2016. I'm going to go back to the transit page and click this button here. So it will synchronize the transit date with the natal Dasha page. And I'm going to go back to a day, basically, just to know how things are from 18 November. And I can see the trend. So this is all there is to it. I have 2 wonderful visualization options. So I can know at a month what's going on in a native's life. along with augmented with the fact of what's happening with Saturn and Jupiter. Are there any Mars and Saturn alerts? How am I going to feel on that day? What is my dasha running, so I can see my transit power right here, or what's going on. And I can see the ephemeris here with the speed of the planet to know a little bit more. Speed of planet is important when we make Prashna chart. In Prashna chart, it is important to understand in depth of the speed of the planet, so that can have a telling tale on the result of the Prashna. Again, then that is another discussion. So there's a lot of information on this page of transit to digest. Again, it's important for us for this purposes of this lesson to understand the navigation and what all information is there. How to use it is going to come in the future courses. Till then, I hope you've enjoyed this session. Please play around with the program and get familiar with it. And till next time, thank you very much.